SIL banned me from her party since I'm an outsider. Her fiancé learned about her secret encounter with her ex-boyfriend. She claims I ruined her life. I, 28F, and my sister-in-law Eleanor, 28F, never got along. We were college friends. But we fell out and have been bitter ever since. Carson, 30, her brother, became my spouse 2 years after graduating. As his wife for 3 years, I can't ignore her. We had this awkward tension since we had to see each other during family events and holidays. She occasionally visited her brother, but my husband saw we didn't get along and I didn't have to spend too much time with her. 5 years of dating, we've done it that way. Keeping things respectful has always been my goal. It irked me that she made odd claims and publicly denigrated me. A fatal catfight would start when I hit her back. My husband's relatives noticed but wisely ignored it. Carson chastised his sister after repeated appeals, but it was futile. I'm avoiding each other like sensible people who don't like each other since she hates me since our college breakdown and doesn't appreciate us acting civilized in public. Therefore, she had to go to ridiculous lengths and shoot me whenever possible. I stopped listening to her BS and avoided her or her events. It was uncommon because her behavior made the family uncomfortable around us. I guess she didn't enjoy my silence. Because of the last 2 family events, she tried to get me to respond, but I pretended not to hear. I realized her usual approaches were ineffective. She texted me. I would have ignored that too, but then I noticed something was wrong and alerted those who needed to know about Eleanor. Being reviled for it, I don't know what to do. Eleanor and her fiancé, Jake, 33M, bought a Cabo vacation home 2 weeks ago, which benefits her. Jake does cardiac surgery well, so they can afford. Eleanor, a banker in our tax bracket, appears to be better than us because of her rich fiancé. She advertised her vacation property purchase on social media, but I don't follow her. She texted me to say so. She emailed me saying she bought it and sent me nice photos of the interior and exterior. I didn't know how to react given our relationship. Leave message on read was my choice. I debated applauding her because replying seemed meaningless. I was right when she realized I wouldn't follow up, she said. Everyone she knew, including my husband, was invited to the celebration. She texted me to say she hoped I was okay with not inviting me because I was an outsider and not her blood relative or friend. She also said she sent me those photographs so I wouldn't miss out on a beautiful vacation house. I told her I was fine and she could invite anyone because it was pretentious and I didn't have time. Muted her SMS because I didn't care. She invited Carson but not me to her party. She was upset Carson wouldn't attend the celebration, instead of appreciating his apparent support for me. Because I was his wife and correct, she blamed me for his absence at the party and texted Carson that she was sad he skipped because I wasn't invited. Her claim was that I had a problem with her, so his behavior was irrational. I never tried to influence her, she's always tried to get under my skin. This drama was too much for Carson and me, so we stopped talking to her. She contacted me again a few days after the party, and I couldn't ignore it. Her parents weren't invited, but everyone our age was present and seemed to love it. But partying with college friends was stressful. He didn't want her to cancel, so she went to the party even though Jake got sick last minute. I'll explain Eleanor's luck. The day after the party, I was browsing my messages when I spotted another set of photographs from her. When I opened her conversation out of curiosity, I noticed party photographs. Since many of our family members were invited and I could see them on social media, see that they added it to their account. She sent them to me personally for peek. She said she sent me those photos to make me feel less like a loser so I wouldn't miss a wonderful party. I was there, therefore that disturbed me. She hated our politeness. After seeing those photos and her letter, I was enraged and pondered barring her and giving my husband an ultimatum. Either we stopped talking to Eleanor or I'd never see his family again. She kept me revved up, so I snapped. While reviewing the images, I saw a college student in the backdrop. I never expected him at Eleanor's festivities. Some of Eleanor's party shots featured Hank, her college ex-boyfriend. Their public on and off relationship lasted over 5 years, 3 years of college and 2 years after. Everyone thought they were done. Not if he attended her party. I couldn't understand his party attendance. Eleanor had no reason to contact or invite Jake after almost 3 years together. I asked 2 college buddies who were at the party instead of Eleanor about those images. Interestingly, they said nobody expected him to be there because they split up 2 years after graduation and hadn't communicated. Others told me Eleanor and Hank broke up because he wasn't committed. They experienced various challenges in their final 6 months. She ended their relationship permanently due to his cheating. She met Jake a year after their separation and they're together, dating since. They told me Eleanor and Hank seemed close at the party and that she told everyone they were friends. They were trying to reconcile to avoid discussing the past. Nobody believed it since Jake was not at the party and Eleanor had made a last-minute modification to the guest list after he found out Jake would not be there, and she had naively trusted a bunch of individuals she had barely spoken to in the past 2 years after we graduated. Nobody set up because it wasn't their business. When I inquired, no secrets were kept. After learning the facts, I contacted Jake. Before continuing, it seemed best to talk to Eleanor first. I'll mention this so she can prepare mentally. I texted her that she had requested Hank to the party and wondered if Jake knew about their past or whether she invited him. Since I hadn't been at the party, she was surprised and asked me how I knew. I emailed her the photographs she sent me and highlighted Hank in 2 of them, hidden in the background. She sent me a long message after a few minutes about how she and Hank were attempting to stay friends to avoid problems with her history. To invite our college friends to the wedding, she urged him. He was a great buddy to her, regardless of his ex-boyfriend status. She didn't worry because she trusted the party guests and knew they wouldn't inform Jake. She wanted me to keep quiet because she hadn't told Jake. He wouldn't like hearing about this from someone else, so she told me to stay quiet and talk to Jake. I inquired why she hadn't informed Jake yet, anticipating an honest answer because I'd keep her secret, but she was rude and said it wasn't my concern. She told me not to shove my nose where it doesn't belong and to keep quiet till she spoke to herself. Please know that I would keep her secret if she was nice to me. I think anyone in her situation would have. Wise to do so, especially because I can use it against them. I was so outraged when I received her messages that I texted Jake immediately away to tell him everything. I banned Eleanor and turned off my phone after telling him everything and putting it in to avoid entertainment. I was annoyed and only turned on my phone at home. Eleanor and my in-laws left messages. I told Jake and everyone was outraged and said I had no right to interfere in their personal lives. My in-laws are disappointed and claimed me talking to Jake about small topics to fight was pointless. Eleanor was furious when I told her she asked Hank to the party, and they're fighting. She blames me for everything. Perhaps I wouldn't have interfered if her kindness prevented her from taking the stone. This was my limit because she always put me down. Her attitude toward me worried me while I tried to help her. I went out of my way to tell Jake and stir trouble. I see no problem. Carson thinks I should have moved on. He believes I should have blocked her and moved on instead of indulging her. As my ally, he doesn't talk to his family. He doesn't think I should apologize, but he feels I should recognize my actions were unnecessary. I agree that it's high school drama. AITA 4. Telling my sister-in-law's fiancé she invited her ex-boyfriend to her party? Edit, probably a misunderstanding. My husband would never force me to see his family. I chose every family function and event where my sister-in-law was expected. I wasn't told to attend these events with him. He maintained that Eleanor's behavior with me was unacceptable and needed to change. She ignored him. I didn't want him to see his family since it would be awkward, so I know many think he's unfair to me and always supported his sister. Not so. I promise, since we wouldn't be together else. Do not worry about my treatment in our marriage. He loves and prioritizes me. Update 1. Carson was right. I realized my actions were unnecessary after some thought. Eleanor needed to realize she couldn't always dominate me. We had catfights before I ignored her. But nothing works. She can't stand it till someone cries or suffers because of her. I wouldn't let her get away with it this time, which disappointed her. Carson gets my point. But high school is high school. Since I won't apologize for mistakes, we've agreed to disagree. Because the person I must apologize to is undeserving. 1 week after I told Jake about the party, they're still fighting. Carson and I don't talk to his family since my in-laws feel I shouldn't have interfered. We shall unwind. Watch what occurs. Eleanor can't text me because I blocked her. Carson also blocked her for annoying him instead of me. She texted him nonstop, hoped to turn him against me and get him out. She blamed me, but she had invited her ex-boyfriend to a party in a vacation home she bought with her fiancé. Many things are wrong with that. Jake can decide if he wants to live with Eleanor now that he knows the truth, which I doubt she would tell him. Jake was informed of what happened 12 days ago and today. I discovered he was delaying the engagement. They informed me, and everyone they're not splitting up, but they won't marry this year. Since our fight, the family. They said this after being silent. I doubt it's the right choice, but it's his. Eleanor is unhappy since she had been bragging to everyone about getting married this year and honeymooning on the Greek islands. She'll probably have to wait. Carson told me that yesterday she used a bogus account to tell him he should leave me to improve his life. We didn't talk recently. I suppose she's overreacting because I told Jake the truth. However, she is blocking me and provoking Carson. My husband knows she's attempting to get under my skin, but I find it unhealthy and weird. She appears fascinated with me and can't make me happy. Due of her irrationality, I hope she appears at our doorstep so I may get a protective order. Neither her parents nor anyone else could explain this behavior. Even though we're not friends, I'll tell my in-laws if she does this again. I've had enough of her BS. If she troubles me with fake accounts, she must be insane. I don't care that she's slandering me to our college friends because nobody takes her seriously. Since several of you have asked about our college fallout, I'll explain what happened. College friends because we were in the same year and department. First-year geography majors had a friendship that terminated in the second. We were close at first. She immediately became one of my numerous acquaintances. My friends invited me to supper and drinks one night. Eleanor received no invitation because they were too far apart to invite her to a birthday party. She was furious with me when she realized we went out without her the next day. She advised me to call her and invite her out since this was her friend group. Her pettiness plus the fact that it was someone else's birthday prevented me from inviting her out even though she wasn't close to the birthday person. We mended that dispute, and I thought everything was good, but she started trying to turn my friends against me and circulating terrible rumors about me. Like I was talking crap about everyone I called a friend, talking bad things about them. I lost friends and confronted her in a horrific, public confrontation when I discovered she was behind it. We have not been friends since, and when I started dating Carson, I doubted she would stay because of her grudges. Carson and I loved one another, so we survived her early breakup efforts. I wanted to put our college hatred behind when I started dating Carson, because I believed it was too childish for adulthood. Even when I tried to remain her friend after dating Carson, she wouldn't let go of the past. She refused all my attempts to befriend her, so I gave up since she wanted to fight with me and prolong our odd and petty feud. Since then, our relationship has improved but not healed. Blame her, not me. Update 3: Eleanor hasn't spoken to me since our big fight about 3 months ago. No contact after 1 month. I believed she'd let it go without hassle. Since his parents blamed me for Eleanor and Jake's condition, Carson and I have avoided family gatherings and not spoken to them. I'm grateful to 2 cousins who don't blame me for keeping us in touch after we were cut off. Eleanor came to our house 2 days later to tell us Jake had ended their engagement. I originally refused to allow her in, but Carson was weary of her hammering on the door, so he opened it. She became hysterical. She wailed like a banshee and blamed us for leaving her and never recovering. She claims she lost Hank and Jake after postponing the engagement. She claims Hank flirted with her when they were reconciling. He told her he loved her, and she thought she did, so she invited him to the party to see how they felt. She would tell Jake later. After learning about Hank, they disagreed, and she didn't want to let him go, so she told Hank she couldn't break up and tried to fix her relationship with her fiancé. The couple tried to reconcile for months. Jake battled with trust, and couples counseling failed. He ended their relationship permanently. Now she blamed me for everything and demanded that I fix her relationship with Jake and get him to forgive her and give her another opportunity. She tried to assault me after I said no. Carson removed her and called the cops. Carson and I are seeking a restraining order against her and will not contact her supporters.